It's spirit time. Hello to you. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so good to be in your company. You know, every now and again, you will open a newspaper or switch on the television, listen to the radio, and hear about the demise of a once famous child star. It seems that those who peak early sometimes struggle to maintain that momentum, unless, of course, they're grounded in firm belief. And that's exactly what my next guest is. Rorisang Thandekiso is here. She is well known from the days of YoTV. She's since gone on to conquer music. She's an MC. She's on radio. She's on television, doing a whole lot more. I know business as well. So there's a lot to go through. Rorisang, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I want to actually take it back right to the beginning. So very few people know that you were actually headhunted for YoTV. That's because you were a trailblazer even before you were on television. Went to the US on public speaking missions. Tell me more.
Yes, I was quite talkative. In primary, funny enough, it was seen as a bad thing. So my mother would get letters. She talks too much. She's too, you know what I mean? If people fight, I'm always there to tell the story of what happened. So I've always taken my talking a lot as a bad and negative thing. Then I got to high school, grade 8, my English teacher, Mr. Muhyiddin, and he was like, you've got such a gift. And you should use it. And he kind of forced me into debating. So started doing a lot of debating and public speaking. But I sucked at reciting other people's work. And for the longest time, I thought I sucked because I couldn't, don't give me somebody's poem to relay. Tell me what the poem is about and I'll tell you my opinion and I'm able to bring it across. And then he said, write more. Then I got into that and I realized that this is my thing. This is where I'm most comfortable. When other kids were preparing for presentations, my surname is Thandekiso, so alphabetical order, I'm right at the end. I'd literally just sit, be bored, listening to them. When they're running at the, closer to me, then I'm like, oh, actually, what am I going to talk about? And I would literally get on and freestyle. And every single time I freestyle, I'd do this thing where I go, can I get 10 out of 10 by just freestyling? So it became my thing. Until my teacher noticed, that's not the best way of doing it. And plugged me into certain spaces where I got to excel. And by God's grace, I got to represent South Africa at the Global Young Leaders Summit. I got nominated as Next Big Thing by a magazine, back then 17 magazine. I also got a kudos from Anglo America by naming me Young Communicator of the Year. It was an amazing year. I got to learn a lot about myself, and more importantly, I think I was put in the deep end so often. I'm being in the States for 2 months with children of presidents and ambassadors, and my mother is Mistress Thandekiso from Rorisang High School. I remember what I would do is at night when my roommate, she was from India, came from a very wealthy family, was sleeping, I would Google. Because our education systems are very different. So what they knew about the Holocaust and what I knew was completely different, So I would always play catch up. But one of my moments was when they were choosing the top 3 out of the 400 delegates. And we played this game, who's more likely to succeed in life? And they nominated me. And I made it into the top 3 of the 400. And I think for me, just solidified that God had set me aside. I was the only African. I was the only girl. It was an amazing feeling to stand there and go, I don't look or sound or act like anybody else. And I have my own way of doing things. And it's cool because God still has your back nonetheless. And that's why he created me, for me to excel. So I think a clip of me talking a lot, I fought with them. Because they gave me the old South African flag and I refused. So all the kids came on with their flags.
Wait, how old were you at this point?
I was 17, 18.
Wow.
In America for the first time, or traveling for the first time. And they were like, no, I was like, no, that's the South African flag, old South African flag. Do you know what that's going to look like back at home with this black little girl walking on a global stage?
At that age, you already were...
Nah, I was like, nah, fam. So I was the only one who waved.
Wow.
And then they did an interview where they asked me what I thought about the program. And I said, this is American propaganda. You guys have just basically told us how pathetic we are as Africa and how we should always look to America. I think videos and clips of me speaking and doing things got around. Then came back. It was my matric year. First year, minding my own business, walking to campus, got a phone call. So because, as friends in high school, we split. So I thought it was one of my friends playing a prank on me, like, hey, please come through. And I was like, I'm walking to class, I'm stressed, bye. I hung up. And then she called me and she said, I'm not your friend, this is not a prank. please send me your email address. We want you to come and audition. And to cut a long story short, it wasn't an audition. In 2 weeks, I was doing live television, doing a children's talk show.
With no TV experience?
No, I literally, my experience or my training was me watching the person who was leaving the show for 2 weeks before taking over. Had to learn earpiece, had to learn. And whereas all the other YoTV presenters started with, I call it continuity presenting, where they did links. I came in straight into a talk show setup where I had to hold conversations, carry,
listen to the director,
listen to my guest. I mean, I had a couple of mistakes where I was just like, what did you say?
And they're
now,
like, you're
I must
live!
ask them now. And it was live TV and incredible. I remember my mom didn't believe me for the longest time until I said, please watch, and then you'll see me on TV. She was like, like, I'm being for real, because no one anticipated it, no one expected it. And of course we had as long as your marks are still up to standard, then go be you.